Hello, good morning. Hello, can I check whether I can share my PowerPoint? Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, madam, it is visible.
Thank you.
Good morning, madam. Am I audible?
Hello, good morning. Yes.
Okay, madam. Madam, you have given as a co-host. You can share the PPT.
Okay.
Not now, madam. Just
Okay.
after your introduction.
Okay.
Yes, madam. So nice of you, madam, joining in time. Thank you so much for your giving your valuable time for us and giving us an opportunity to get more exposure on this entrepreneurship development process. So, my dear participants, Dr. Radhika Meenakshi Madam is a founder, Vice Owl Consultancy and Services. Madam, give us a topic today on entrepreneurship development process. Dr. Radhika Meenakshi Shankar is actively involved in the industry circles and academic campuses, promoting entrepreneurship and incubation, monitoring and mentoring and providing consultancy for startups and existing MSMEs through her management services firm for MSME at Coimbatore, Kannur, and Vice Owl Consultancy Services since 2011. Madam, her enterprise focuses on entrepreneurship, education-wide training entrepreneurs and trainers and faculties as well as for the students. She has, to her credit, of training more than 20,000 potential and existing entrepreneurs, domestic and in international arena. Madam does consultants for educational institutions for their entrepreneur activities, student ventures, incubations, and IPR activities. She is a registered, accredited mentor and board advisor with many government and campus as well as the private incubators and accelerators across India. Prior to this, Madam was a professor with many reputed universities across India for over 2 decades as a faculty of finance and entrepreneurship. Thank you, Madam, for joining us. We can over to you, Madam, to continue with our topic.
Namaste, and thank you for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to participate with fellow faculties and exchange views. And I'm hoping that today I would be able to share some of my thoughts on this entrepreneurship process with you for some time and get your views also on the same. So let's start off without much ado. I would like to just give me a minute to share the screen. Can you all see the screen?
Yes, Madam. It is
okay,
visible.
I'm going out of the video because the bandwidth here in Kannur, I'm below Ooty, which is on the mountains. So the bandwidth may be a little down. So I'm going off the video and I'll come back again. Okay.
All right, Madam.
It's not getting into a slideshow mode. Is it on a slideshow mode,
Yes.
please?
Yes, Madam.
Thank you.
Yes, Madam.
Right. So good morning once again, everybody. I would like to share, as I told you earlier, a little bit on entrepreneurship development process. And I would like to ask you first, you come to this FDP and how do you think this particular topic is going to help you with your teaching, research, and consultancy? Anybody?
Please respond, ma.
Do you think entrepreneurship
Participants.
education is important to all different faculties of different departments, different faculties? Do you think everybody should know about entrepreneurship?
Yes, good morning, ma'am.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, in my view, it is very much important. If a faculty is aware about the entrepreneurship, then it's in better way they can guide their student to go with the entrepreneurship. So it is very much useful for all the faculties who is teaching BTech or MTech or research level students to know and involve in entrepreneurship development process.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You have exactly told all the words that I wanted to say. Yes, understanding what is entrepreneurship and why we should inculcate entrepreneurial thinking in our students is very important for every faculty, irrespective of what department and what science block you belong to. Because entrepreneurship is all pervasive. All pervasive, it is applicable to all subjects. So if we are going to say that, then the next question is, what is the use of knowing it? I'm not going to become an entrepreneur. I'm a faculty. Only some of my students would think of becoming an entrepreneur, or not all of them. All of them will want to get a job and work and so on and so forth. Please, my dear friends, let us understand right from the beginning that entrepreneurship education is necessary for every single one of us. Me, you, your faculty, our students who are learners, for everybody. Now, what is entrepreneurship? It doesn't mean that you have to start your own business. That is entrepreneurship, isn't it? So if entrepreneurship is to start your own business, not all of us are going to start. So here I would like to stop you and ask you to look at this angle of thinking. Here we are here to impart entrepreneurial way of thinking, and that is called entrepreneurship thinking. That every one of us should have this entrepreneurial thinking, right? If we have this entrepreneurial thinking, and we can continue to do work as professionals, as employees, or we can even start our own. Why is entrepreneurial thinking so important? What is entrepreneurial thinking? As we go into our class, we will look at what is entrepreneurial thinking. But to put everything short, for you to understand what I'm going to talk, entrepreneurial thinking is problem solving. If you look at an entrepreneur, they will solve a problem immediately. They will look at newer and newer ways of solving problems. Even if we just take the mosquito, right? From time immemorial, we've had different products, solutions to the problem of mosquitoes. We've had mosquito nets, we've had Odomos, the cream, then we had Odomos, we had that, what is that chip, that good night plates, no, where we used to keep it, and that needed electricity. So we looked at All Out, which is a liquid, and it will go on. And then we have a horde of newer and newer solutions to the same old problem of mosquitoes. Today, what not we have for mosquitoes, right? We have sprays, we have organic sprays, we have plants that can drive away mosquitoes, we have electronic lights that can ward off mosquitoes. So we have so many. We have patches, we have paper that when you burn, the mosquitoes goes away. And to top it all, हर मुट्ठी में आज क्या है? Come on, हर मुट्ठी में क्या है? Come on, anybody? What is there in everybody's hands today? Hello? Can you hear me?
Madam, they are posting in a chat, madam. Mobile
Oh,
in
I'm
hand.
sorry. I can't see the chat because I'm on
Yes.
full screen.
Yes,
Okay.
madam.
Yeah, okay.
Mobile
So,
and chat.
yes, mobile. Definitely. Har mutti mein there's mobile. Today we can't imagine a life without a mobile, isn't it? So today there is an app for mosquitoes, and if you switch on that app, right, it will send out signals which only the mosquitoes can hear, and they will drive away the mosquitoes. So guys, for the same old problem, right, people have thought differently and come up with different solutions. Now that is entrepreneurial thinking. When you start thinking newer and newer solutions to problems to try and solve them, what we do is we create value. Value creation is entrepreneurship. And therefore, how to create value, if you help the students to think, how do I solve a problem and find a solution that will create value, then consider that we have imparted entrepreneurial thinking. Now, it's just not enough that we teach our students, we also need to imbibe this ourselves. Manaku kuda, are you comfortable in Telugu? Is it okay if I slip to Telugu?
No issue, madam.
Okay. So, this type of thinking should also come within us as faculties. Manam itla anukuntene mana students ki nerpiyadaniki ostudi. So we need to also think entrepreneurially. It is just not enough that we become faculty, a salary torkone manam idi nerpiyala, ee subjects, ee timetable prakaram idi nerpiyala, idi cheyala, nen syllabus, my duty is done ani manam anukunte, we are doing a job. But are you growing personally? Are you adding value to yourself? Are you adding value to yourself? Value is very, very important. We constantly need to improve our learning curve. Otherwise, we will get into what is called as Alzheimer's. All of us, 95% of humans tend to get Alzheimer's, which is you'll forget, and it's quite a thing. In order to keep our brains active, we have to continuously keep learning. That's why they ask you to do puzzles, Sudoku, try and do some solving puzzles. So all these things in our older age, they ask us to do. And if you build this habit of learning something new so that we can impart it to our own students who will also learn something new, it's a win-win situation for everybody. Now, it is not something absolutely new that it's rocket science, that you have to learn and do it. It is something that we practice. Only thing is we have to become aware that every day we solve a lot of problems, but are we doing it in the entrepreneurial way that will add value to the lives of others? So that is what I'm going to discuss today, and that is entrepreneurship development process. Why is my thing not moving? 1 second. So if you look at Reid Hoffman, who's a co-founder of LinkedIn, he says, we no longer expect to find a job. Instead, we must make our own jobs. As you all know, our own country, we have so much of population, and that too young population. We have what is called as the economic dividend because we have so many young people. And to find jobs for everybody is very difficult. And therefore, the government is going gung-ho on Startup India and promoting entrepreneurship in a very, very big way, right? Make in India, Startup India, Stand Up India. All these are basically schemes that promote entrepreneurship, and the government and everybody across the world recognize that entrepreneurship, the seed of entrepreneurship, is sown in educational campuses. And that is why you find that a whole lot of schemes, innovation, labs, promotion, all that happens in educational institutions. Now, Hoffman says, we have to find a way to add value in a way no one else can. For entrepreneurs, it is to differentiate or die. That goes for all of us. no, for an entrepreneur who starts a business, obviously he has to sell his products. Only then his business will run, right? And that means he has to motivate people who have problems to buy his solution because it's different. But for us, who are not entrepreneurs, how do we look at it? He says we need to see how we are good, how we can contribute by our thoughts. How can we contribute and allow people to, gain from it? That is what is meant creating value. All humans are entrepreneurs, not because they start companies, but because the will to create. So all of us have this creativity. All of us can think new. All of us need not be a herd. Herd means herd mentality ante atu మొత్తం ఈ వీళ్ళు చేస్తారే మనం కూడా ఇట్లనే చేసుకొని no problem అని we don't think different. So the ability to look at a problem and try and solve it in a new way is what is called as entrepreneurial thinking. And this is a part of our DNA is what. And one of the things that you need to understand is if your idea is not on mobile today, your business is dead even before it starts. So today, everything starts from a mobile, right? Today, if you want to hear the baby's heartbeats in the mother's stomach, you have an app for it. If you're having a heart attack, you can take an ECG also with your mobile app and send it. So all these are, so what we have to understand is we have to solve problems, and these solutions should be in the latest way which people can access the fastest. Today, nobody even uses the computer. Everybody uses their phone for everything, right? What Graham Bell invented and what we use our mobile phone today is absolutely so different, and it's so much value added. So there are a lot of newer and newer technologies that are coming. In fact, there are 4 technologies that are going to rule the world. It's called SMAC. S stands for social media. M stands for mobile. A stands for analytics, and C stands for cloud technologies. So we are looking at a whole lot of data. We need to analyze those data, and we gather all these data from various social media, mobiles, and from all the other areas. And it's important that we analyze these data and take away the essence for our decision making. And of course, all of you know that today even the thinking has gone off to ChatGPT and generative AIs, artificial intelligence. And today we live in this world where all of us are saying, are we threatened? Is our job threatened by generative AI? But we should learn to adapt and learn to harness these new technologies to our use, and to make sure we are on top of the technology and not let the technology be on top of us. So therefore, we should, as faculties, be the first ones to guide our students to say, guys, all these are there, but you should learn how to creatively think. You should be the ones who, because these guys can't creatively think. It's only human minds can creatively think. That is only the power of humans. And therefore, we should do a lot of things that will help our students to think creatively, give them assignments, give them things that will help them to think different. Okay. And so value creation is basically finding solutions to real problems. So we should help them to become dynamically proactive. Proactive means what? Envisaging, or even before the problem can occur, you assume what could be the problems that can occur and try and find solutions to the problems that may occur, so that you're prepared when it happens, right? And that is called proactive adaptations to change. Opposite to proactive is reactive. So once a problem happens, like for example, if it rains, I forgot to bring an umbrella. Whereas if you were to think beforehand that it may rain and then you carry an umbrella, that means you're trying to be more proactive. That is what it means. Now, when you're looking at value creation, whenever you solve the problem, for example, if you're talking about a new design, of course, you have the television. These are all innovations, right? And if you're looking at a brand status, you think of a Rolex, right? And if you're looking at price, you look at a nano car, or you look, these are the values that they created. So values are created in different ways, like bringing cost savings by giving you time savings, like a washing machine, right? A washing machine helps you to save time and does the work for you. So it saves you time, it saves you work efforts. So the work efforts, saving in time, savings in work, these are all part of what is called as values that it can bring. For example, if you look at during COVID, all of us were looking at OTT platforms. We were looking at video games to keep us occupied. What problem did these solve? They solve the problem of boredom, right? Entertainment is a great value that can be created. Health is another value that can be created, right? So hope is a value that you can create. For example, the COVID vaccines give us hope that we may not die from COVID, right? It doesn't promise that you will not get COVID, but it promises, rather, at least assures you that you will not die of COVID, right? So these are all hope, motivation. Like you go to a gym, they motivate you to lose weight. So these type of are also value creations, right? For example, if you look at the mobile phone, it converges integrates so many technologies into the simple mobile phone, and therefore that's a great value. Everything under one roof is one other value. Free and really free is another value, but of course, nothing is free in this world, guys. That you have to remember. Now, businesses which have adapted to the environment with strategies and set their framework adaptable to changes have been hugely successful. Now, this is very important, that as humans, we need to adapt. Now, if we don't adapt, then as a species, we will become extinct. You'll find that the dinosaurs has become extinct, but the lizards live on. So obviously, these are ways in which you adapt yourself. So the environment, we all need to adapt, whether it's technology. Now, whoever thought that the guy who's selling the bandi bananas, who's selling bananas in the bandi, now is able to get money and receive money on Paytm. He knows how to use his phone for receiving payments. He's got a small scan and say, pay for the bananas in the scanner. Now, did we even think of this when we were young? We didn't even know what was a mobile. But today, everybody is learning to adapt. Otherwise, if you don't adapt, you lose out in the bargain. So one of the things that we constantly need to push on our students is the ability to adapt to new technologies, adapt to newer ways of thinking. Let's not think the way that our forefathers did, because if we think the way the forefathers did, then we would be still savages. It is only because someone thought new, someone thought about the wheel, someone thought about fire, someone thought new, that we are all evolving. So remember one thing, my friend, and this comes from a great conviction of my PhD thesis, which I did for 7 years, that work never changes, but the way to work changes, right? So the buying and selling has been there from time immemorial, but today we are doing the buying and selling on the net. The way the work is not changed, but the way we do the work has changed. This is an axiom that we have to accept and make sure that we tell our students this, that there are newer ways to do the same work, and that's what we need to adapt. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but just wanted to tell you that the lens today are different. You can actually, so Sony has created a smart eye lens, which you can see TV. Of course, all of you have heard of the Google glasses. Then you have cars like Tesla, which automatic cars. Today, I have a couple of my mentees who are working on automated transportation, especially on waterways and other things. Then, of course, from our own Hyderabad, we have clothes that keep you warm and cool. And today, they've phone apps can and scan your retina, analyze your breath. So these are all newer and newer innovations that are coming, and therefore the way we do work has kept changing, right? And what already we have decided what is entrepreneurship. We all know that is a way of thinking, reasoning, and acting that is opportunity obsessed. So basically, that's what we need to teach, or not teach, or rather help our students to learn that, you should never let an opportunity go by. You should look at the opportunity and think, reason, and act on the opportunity and say, how can I be on top of this opportunity, and keep your leadership too, right? Otherwise, if you're caught unawares, a new kid in block like Uber would Uber all. Remember, before Uber came, how much problem we had in taxi, auto, and all that, right? Once Uber came, everybody fell in line. Everybody started following the Uber. Maybe it's an Ola, maybe it's a red taxi, but every one of them started getting into this because there was no other go. Otherwise, they were left out. So don't be caught in unawares. That's what we need to imbibe, that, you need to be proactive and expect. Today, Chat GPT is there. This is there. Everybody's making a lot of noise. How do we get on top of it? How do we get? So that is what is entrepreneurial education all about, and that is how you develop entrepreneurship thinking amongst the students. So how do we do that? That is what I'm going to see in the next few slides. Now, if you have to understand right from the beginning, as I already told you, it's relevant to all forms of learning and all disciplines of education. And who should teach it? Obviously, it has to be the faculty. In all your subjects, whatever subject you are teaching, try and instill entrepreneurial thinking modules within the same syllabus that you are teaching. How to do that is what we're going to do. You have to do what is called as experiential learning. So there are different kinds of learnings, right? We all know that as faculties. There is, of course, what we call today as blended learning. Other than traditional teaching, we also now use a lot of educational aids like videos, or we organize games, we organize exercises, we do case studies. We have so many pedagogical tools, and more important, the best way that a student learns as per research is when they experience it themselves. So some learn through their ears listening, some see and learn, some learn by doing. But the highest form of remembrance of what you learned comes when you actually do it and learn. That's why it's called experiential learning. So experiential learning is one of the most ideal way that learning can be imparted, right? But can you teach a student to take a risk or have a passion for something? No, we cannot. But we can definitely tell them how to do this, right? And tell them how to analyze the situation and weigh the risks. That is all what we can help them to learn. Now, how do we cultivate entrepreneurial spirit? So entrepreneurial spirit, as I already told you, is thinking creatively, being very innovative, being curious to understand why the problem is occurring this way, why can't it occur this way. Lateral thinking refers to thinking in 360 degrees, right? You need to think the good, the bad, the worst scenario, the best scenario, the ideal scenario, the average scenario. Those type of lateral thinking is a newer, think out of box, as they tell. Adaptability to situations and environment. Being resourceful. One of the things of an entrepreneur is being very resourceful, which means to do things with whatever we have in hand, right? So that is very important. మన దగ్గర ఉన్నది పెట్టి మనం ఎట్లా ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వ్ చేస్తూ పోవాలా. That is what is called resourcefulness. Risk taking. How much risk can I take? What is over risk? What is under risk? And what is the right amount of calculated risks, right? And therefore, nurturing entrepreneurship thinking requires that we rethink our way of education, our pedagogies, our curriculum, and other educational services. Now, what should be the main aim? As faculties, we should not look at creating entrepreneurs, but to create entrepreneurial minds. Now, once you create entrepreneurial minds amongst the students, whether they become entrepreneurs or go to work with entrepreneurial minds, it's it doesn't matter, because ultimately the goal of us is that we impart the entrepreneurial thinking way of learning to our students. So this entrepreneurial mindset can create entrepreneurs, can create entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are employees who think like entrepreneurs, right? And it can create social entrepreneurs who help the society at large, and of course supporters of the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Now, why do we need to do this? As I already told you at the beginning, basically today there are a lot more complex global challenges like climate change, energy crisis, all happening. We need to create more job creators, and entrepreneurship creates more jobs because there's a lot of rising unemployment. Today, companies require proactive employees, and that comes with entrepreneurial thinking. Today, the government is also concentrating a lot on startup ecosystem because it's a decade of innovation, and we are trying to promote technology in a big way. And today, the trending thing is to recruit for skills and talent, not for your degree and the knowledge that you have. So many of them are done away with. No more resumes, just come up with what you know, and then, you're employed. Today, there's a great motivation seeing all the environment. The youngsters of today want to achieve something quickly, and they want to achieve something very big in the economy. So helping them to think like an entrepreneur will push them towards their goals faster. And as we already know, the government of India is increasingly emphasizing the need for entrepreneurial generation through various schemes like this and FDPs. So how do you do this? First, you need to gather knowledge of what are entrepreneurial skills. Then within ourselves, right? As faculties, we need to see what is our weak points and what is our strong things. For example, one of the knowledge of entrepreneurial skills is the ability to think new. Do we have, suppose many of us are creatively endowed to think new. We always find we are very creative. We can think about it newly. Some of us have the ability to execute it very much, but once you're given the direction, then we can execute it. So that is your strength. Some of us can think newly, but we may be a little low on our execution level, organizing level. Each one of us have got our own talents. Now, forming a team is very important, and therefore understand what are your skills, what are you good at, what are you weak at, and make sure you develop your skills, add to your skills, and your weak skills, you strengthen your weak skills and apply these skills. Now, that's very important, because how to apply these skills is very important. Now, for this, you should be willing, and you should be critical of yourself. And most important is you need to set a time frame and boldly face the challenges. Just a minute.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry. So you should be in a beta mode always, right? What's the meaning of being in a beta mode? That means you should be always willing to improve yourself. Now, this goes for both of us. When I may say both, I mean as faculties, for us too. We should be in a beta mode, ready to learn something new always, right? Beta mode, and not in that final mode that I'm done, it's over, I've done enough for these years, right? And I don't think I need to do something more. Never be like that. Always be, this will keep you energized, and being energized is something very, very important. Okay. And always remember, we can improve the best. So be in a beta mode ourselves and impart the learning in our students that they have to be in a beta mode. Now, how do we do that? We should train the students to think proactively, creatively, and economically. Economically means being resourceful within the resources available. How do we think, right? And try and find solutions to problems. Now, e-thinking helps them to be great entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are entrepreneurially thinking employees, right? Which will allow you to get great placements and also trigger them to become entrepreneurs. Now, triggering them to become entrepreneurs, not necessarily that in college only they'll become entrepreneurs. Some of them do, right? And they'll close it down and go to studies further and then again come back work. Now, gone are the days in, at least in my generation, when we used to come to college, the next is get a job. Lifelong, we'll be working only in that job. Today's generation is not like that. They take a break, they start up, then they sell it off, then they go for studies, then they take a 1-year sabbatical, they enjoy, learn to find life, and then come back and restart. So these are all newer ways of living life, and we need to accept that. Today, there are a lot of innovation policies that are happening in our own state of Telangana. You'll know that students can do a startup. If they fail, they can come back and the college has to provide placements for them, just like how you provide placements regularly for all the students. So there are many, many options that are available. And therefore, we have many schemes that are promoting entrepreneurship. Be aware of this. The first step as faculties of any department is being aware that there is a thing called entrepreneurship. There is a thing called entrepreneurial thinking. And what are the government doing when they're doing so much that you can start up and you can go to work, or you can go to work and again come and do a startup, and the campus can help. As faculties, we are the first line of action, which means we are the first ones to do this. So that is why it's important. Now, to do this, you need to do it in 4 things, right? We understood that entrepreneurial thinking is good for placements. It's good for triggering them to become entrepreneurs and contribute to the society at large. How do we do that? 4 things, K-I-N-G, King, right? Impart knowledge, impart interpersonal skills, help them to network, and develop a good character. Now, these are 4 important things that will help you to understand. Now, when you look at knowledge, as faculties, we disseminate knowledge, right? We help them to learn new things. Now, why not teach them these new things in a new way and still instill the thought that they can creatively come up with a solution that is better than existing solutions, right? One of the way is to strongly introduce entrepreneurship as one more subject, right? And then link this subject to, just like how we do English, the languages, and say these are important, whatever subject you're learning. Similarly, introducing entrepreneurship. Today, it's become mandatory that we introduce entrepreneurship as a subject. Now, but how to link it to the subject that you're teaching? That is by definitely taking real business examples and using experiential learning as a pedagogy. For example, you could introduce your students to the entrepreneurship club. Every college has got an entrepreneurship club, has got innovations councils. Let them understand that it is there. As faculties, sometimes we think that's not my area. Why should I even look at it? As any science, let it be any discipline, make sure you yourself get introduced to the ESL in the college. You get introduced to the Innovation Council in the college. Who is in charge? How do you get in touch with them? Talk to them, attend 1 or 2 events of theirs so that you are also, enhanced in your learning. As I said, are you adding value to yourself? How do you add value? By learning something new. How do you learn something new? Other than the mandatory programs that you have to attend, are you doing something for yourself on your own? How are you adding value? Are you learning something new? Are you understanding something new? Are you at least spend 30 minutes a week on yourself? We are caught up so much in our work, in our personal front. Whatever time we have, we use it on our personal front. But are we devoting 30 minutes to ourselves? I think that's very important because we need to add value to ourselves. So, for example, what I used to do is I used to take 10% of my salary and buy books. In those days, we didn't have the Google, right? So I used to buy books to read. You could spend some time, and that's the way I used to add value to myself, right? I used to buy new books on management thinking or new innovation thinking. That is how I used to spend and add value to myself, right? What are you doing to add value? Are you learning? Today there are so many free courses. Are we doing any course? Where do we have time, right? But create that time, because you need to add value. Like, I don't have to learn Spanish, but I'm doing that at this age. At 60 plus, I'm learning Spanish. Why? Just like that, to keep my brain active, right? It just takes me 10 minutes of my time a week. Every Sunday, I just take 10 minutes of the time to just do that, Duolingo. I take that, download that app. It's free. What do you do? How do you, keep your brain active? That is very important, right? That's what you need to inculcate. You throw some assignments on your students so that they don't cut, copy, paste, but they need to think. Now, how can you do that, right? So one of the things that I used to do is I used to tell the students that they should take a photo of themselves with the company that they are, doing the research on or doing their assignment on, or get a signature from that person with their letterhead. Now, things like that would, even for a small class assignments, I used to ask them to do that. That showed them that it was very authentic and that I'm not willing to do cut, copy, paste. As it is, you're giving a teamwork. So let them do some work. Now, how do you do that? That you have to creatively tell them, go visit each of you, visit 10 companies, right? But there are 5 of you. Each of you do 2 companies. That way you divide the work for them. They'll be more than happy, right? So today, there are a lot of students, startups, who start up on their own. Like, they are very good at photography. I know some of the students who have started their own photography classes and photography companies where they take up event photographies, etc. Campus companies. Now, this is, you must have heard of it. Quite a few companies are run by students, for students, at the students. Like, for example, the bookshop in the college is run by students, the ESL students, right? And once they pass out, the next batch of students run the company. So this is again monitored by the college itself, but this helps the students to understand how it is to sell, where it is to sell, when it is to sell, and all those things. How to source raw materials. All these are very, very important. It's not enough that you study chemicals, B.Tech chemicals, but you have to understand, how do I store chemicals? How do I buy? How much chemicals do I buy? Because that's what they will be doing once they get into work. So getting into the academic industry interface, where we have a lot of the summer camps, right? So students go on summer internship camps and all that stuff, and we are put as mentors. Now, what I used to do, I can only share you my example, and I think that works for all of us too, is that out of the 20 people whom I'm given as a mentor to guide, I used to visit 2 people's in their office. I used to put my own money, travel, and visit. So for like one of my students who's working in an X company, then I would go visit that company and visit and meet their mentor over there and talk to them and say, how is my student performing, etc. Now, why? Not to spy on my student, but I get to an exposure to the industry. I get exposure and I get networked to that company. Then what I do is I meet that person and I get to meet them, have a coffee with them, and then I invite them over to the college. And during my session in the classroom, right, I'm not calling them to the college and get the entire world involved and get hajar permissions. All that is not there. During my class, in my classroom, that 50 minutes where I am the king of my class, I put on the laptop and ask them to come for 10 minutes to talk to my entire class on that subject, right? Now that I'm benefiting, maybe I'm not benefiting everybody, and it's impossible if I'm going to 4 sections that I give it only to 1 section. Next thing, I'll give it to the other section, right? But that way, I get to expose my students in my classroom with a 10 minutes talk by that person from the industry. So at the backdrop of that boiler, I'm saying, I mean, this person is talking about how the valve is or what is this. So that becomes very, very interesting in your class because you have something new to say to the students and just not the subject alone, right? So that's the way you inculcate. Anyway, I've transgressed a bit. I'll come back to that a little later. You need to have a lot of academic industry interface, a lot of internships, incubator. If there is an incubator, a business incubator. Now, incubator, as all of us know, are a machine that keeps premature babies alive like the mother's womb. But business incubators are basically places where new thinking, new products, new ideas are incubated with a lot of help in terms of space, in terms of money, in terms of resources, in terms of technical expertise, in terms of management expertise. All that is given to the startup so that they can blossom into a real company. That is what is called as a business incubator. So you're definitely, every campus has got a business incubator. It's mandatory that you have. If you don't, there will be always one business incubator within 5-kilometer radius of your college. That is the mandate the government of India has given. So make sure that you understand what a business incubator is. If you haven't, do visit in a couple of incubators for you to understand, just as a part of your 15 minutes learning a week, new learning. Just go on your own, visit the incubator, pick up what it is, understand what it is, introduce saying, I want to know what is all this all about, right? I'm very sure, take that first step, right? The whole wide world starts with a single step forward. Another thing is patents. Understand that there is intellectual property rights and new thinking can be patented. And if you help your students to think new, you can also get a part of the patent, co-patent and all that. Again, this creates more jobs, more wealth for the country and more entrepreneurs. Now, the impact that you are creating by doing this is students get off the textbook learning that is gathered a lot by experiential learning. The students become more skilled rather than more knowledgeable. They become knowledgeable with your teaching, but they become more skilled because they are exposed to so many things and they are exposed to the industry, and there is a lot of better placements, and you create a lot of patents and new knowledge for the world at large, and you create more industries and you increase the wealth of the country. How do you do that? As I already told you, anytime you start a new chapter, please pick up 2 to 3 examples from the industry relating to the chapter. Always leave them with a curious question or a curious case and ask them to find out the answer and come back the next day. Post them a problem and ask them to find solutions. I'm so sure none of them will do it, but one good student may attempt it. Ask them to talk about it and give them some extra information the next day on that. And that will, stir their curiosity, because they find that every day regularly you're trying to teach them, giving them it could be something, maybe even not related to your subject, but related to new technology, something, for 5 minutes of your time to devote in, creating this creative thinking or, triggering the thinking in the students. Ask for innovative ideas to the problems. Set innovative projects for them to do. Visit your intern's office, create a network, organize, of course, webinars. Make sure you also attend a couple of new webinars before you even, enlighten your students on some new webinars. And of course, use a lot of videos in your teaching, because that is called blended teaching methods. In all this, what you need to also help your students, teach the class, flip the class and ask them to teach a particular chapter. You'll find that the students will come up with better examples. Guide them how to put the PowerPoint in terms of add these examples, do this, give them a problem. Give them a sort of a structure, and you'll find that your students are doing extremely well. Give them each one topic and add on to that. Whatever they say, make sure you add on to that. And this will help them to improve their communication, negotiation. Of course, they'll say that teacher won't teach only. She'll ask us only to teach, right? That's okay. That's absolutely okay. Now, how do you prove you're a master at the end of the day is by giving the add-ons, the subjects, and asking them questions, right? This requires that you change the way we teach. I found that when I did this, I found a tremendous amount of attention for my classes from my students. I found that the students found the class very interesting, and they're all old. They can think, they can study on their own. We are only facilitators. We are no longer our school teachers where we actually teach, right? Today, Google is there, ChatGPT is there. So what we need to do is teach them to think. That is what I think ultimately, whatever be the subject, the ability to think critically is what we can teach them, really even, right? And fostering teamwork, because in real life, teamwork plays a very important role. So while giving projects that are team-based, we also teach them teamwork and show them the reality than what is then just in textbooks. And of course, they learn how to pitch their idea, and network is the name of the game. So this is very important. We need to network, and networking is very important. Network is your net worth. How do we do that, right? We have our own department, but we need to network with other departments also. We need to use the alumni network. One of the best ways is to get your alumni to talk in your class on a particular subject. Like, let's say one of your alumni has started his own company on a particular, let's say a technical company. Let's say he started a AI-based company. Then in your AI class, you ask that student to come and talk on the AI and for 10-15 minutes. And that would be a great exposure, right? Tying up with external bodies like TIE and other things, getting involved with your own department-based industrial association, Electronic Association of India. So things like that, getting involved with that will help you to create the academic industry interface. Please remember, it's very important that you too get networked, right? Outside and inside the classes. Okay. And try and bring a team spirit by, that is why we have our own college badges, college things that will show teammanship. Another thing that I talked to you about is knowledge, interpersonal skills, networking, and the last is, of course, character. I think we as faculties go a long way in shaping up the character of the student. Culture is something that we teach them, how to respect traditions and ethics, and the way to do ethical way of giving an exam or ethical way of submitting an assignment, making sure that we don't do discrimination, promoting healthy relationship, celebrating all festivals, and trying to create the Guru Shiksha Parampara. But today, we should teach them to respect knowledge wherever it is, right? That is very important. And of course, earning respects. What are the best practices is, of course, attendance and class participations, and make sure that you're recognized for a FDP, and maintenance of infrastructure for it, online assignments, pre-leading case studies. We need to do a whole lot of these things. No, as faculties, we need to look at open book exams. Today, that's become a very big thing. Try and offer multiple choice questions, and create when faculties are on leave, try and create assignments that can be given to them during our leave. Set time aside specifically for activities, and make sure it's student-led activities. And of course, attending seminars or writing papers, which we all do, but use that as a networking. Keep the entrepreneurial thinking at the back of your mind always, right? Are you ready for this? Because it requires you to change. Change is something very difficult, but the only way to change is to look at the most positive things outside and what you hope to achieve, because by the time you achieve it, what you get is great fame and wonderful knowledge, which you can impart and will make you a very interesting person, right? So give them assignments, give them a problem from the industry, prepare industry examples, form teams and ask them to search for solution, call an alumni industry. These are again ways to tools for you to impart e-thinking amongst your students. So you can given you. So wish you all the very best to create the very best kings and queens of our college, of our country. And that's my email, and I'm now open for questions.
Requesting participants, if any queries, please feel free to ask.
Okay. Meanwhile, let me see if I can show you a video. Okay.
Right.
I want to show you a video 1 second.
Okay.
Oh. I need to share screen. Can you see the screen and the video?
Yes, madam.
This is a unique time in business history. As technology and social systems become ever more complex, our markets are becoming even more competitive. Employers and businesses alike are looking for innovative ways of solving problems, remaining relevant, and investing intelligently. You need a new frame of mind for making strategic decisions and taking bold risks. How do you balance this? You learn how to be an entrepreneur. The ability to think like an entrepreneur and act like an innovator are critical skills for success across industries. Some think that certain people are born with these skills, but this is absolutely not true. As with any body of knowledge, entrepreneurship is a skill set that anyone can learn. Thinking like an entrepreneur is a proven way to distinguish yourself in the workplace and to accelerate your career. Entrepreneurial thought and action is a tactical, results-oriented process that you can apply to a new venture, as well as to promote innovation within existing organizations, large, small, or family-owned, and across profit, not-for-profit, and social ventures. In this course, you will learn how to identify, assess, shape, and act on opportunities in a variety of contexts, settings, and organizations.
Okay. One second. Okay. So that's again from Babson, which is one of the most famous colleges for entrepreneurship, and how professor says that entrepreneurship is applicable for everybody, and that's exactly what we've been also trying to do. If we have time, I have one more video that I can show. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, please post
One
them.
question, madam. How to
Yeah.
motivate in the chat? How to motivate students for entrepreneurship?
Well, that's $1 million question. Motivating students to start on their own is very, very difficult. Okay, now what we did, let me come up with some of the examples that we've been doing in Telangana, especially. As a part of JNTU, in 2013, what we started was an innovation camp. The original innovation camp was thrown open to all colleges, and what we did is we took them in BITS Pilani, Hyderabad. That's where it started. And the students were kept there for 6 weeks for them to build a product and come up with a solution. So that was a 6-week program. Till date, from 2013 till now, it's going to be nearly 10 years. This program has been happening every summer. And this program, as all of you must have heard of, is called Excite. Right? So Excite was the original program that was thought for promoting students to think new, come up with solutions, and to become entrepreneurs. So we thought that, if they do find a product, and then they will, obviously then create a company of their own. That was the original way of what Excite, the goal of Excite was to create entrepreneurs. But over a number of years, what we found was the entrepreneurial thinking was so severely etched in the students' mind who attended Excite program. Now, if many of you don't know what an Excite program is, the Excite program is for 6 weeks. Students come and they are mentored on to study a problem and find a solution which is innovative and build a prototype of the product and display the working prototype. Now, this is all with industry mentors. The organizers provide them the industry mentors, the technical expertise, the money for buying the resources of the products, etc., etc. So at the end, they give it, and sometimes the products are bought off by the industry. Some get an offer to buy off their idea. So these were a lot happening. But at the end of the day, even with 60 to 70 ideas which crop up every year, we found that only 2 to 3 actually make it into real-time startup. But many of them come back after 2-3 years to become entrepreneurs. So what we found was that the entrepreneurial thinking was superbly installed, and that really worked fine because it showed great placements for all of them. Because in all their placement interviews, these students were talking about the product they built, what were the challenges they had while building the product. Because these few students engineers had actually built with their hands, which is one up against a regular student who did not attend the Excite program. So that was one thing. So one of the ways to motivate students is to encourage them to build a product or build a solution, and that would help them to really think of the challenges. That is why I say the assignments that are given to us is a huge tool in the hands of the faculties to actually instill this e-thinking in students. So asking them to take a real problem, and we all know when they present what is cut, copy, paste program and what they have done on their own. Right? So out of the 50 cases that the teams that come up to us for presentation, we know which are genuine, and that's how we give them higher marks, right? And for the rest, we know what is an average. Anywhere in work life, that will be there. There'll be exceptionally good ones. There'll be the really worst ones. There'll be the average ones. So one way is to give them projects that will help them to think entrepreneurially. So this means you ask them to go out to the industry and make sure you give them marks that if it is a real life example, it's much appreciated. And to show that it's real life, today we have their phone. Ask them to take a photo, ask them to take a video of the industry they visited. Those are the things, of course, with the permission of the owners. So getting that, visiting, all of them have a lot of relatives who have run their own business. So looking at that aspect, for example, if you're looking at software, you ask them to go look at the accounting software of their father's company, some things like that, which in any which ways they have to look at a particular aspect of whatever subject that you're teaching. That is one way, giving them projects. Then, of course, as I already told you, getting them internships, that's very important, and making sure you talk to 1 or 2 of their companies, making them understand that today, it's just not the degree that matters, but the extracurricular skills that matter. Showing them that, by example, that I'm also learning this. How are you guys learning Chat GPT? Is it new? What are the challenges you have? Things like that, which is what called as co-learning, right? Where you don't distinguish that I'm the teacher, I'm superior, so I'm supposed to know, and you're not supposed to know, and I'm supposed to teach you. So don't keep that. Today we have Google already ahead of us. So let's look at co-learning. That will be much better. And I'll teach you what I know. You help me to understand what are the new things. That's the attitude that we need to take. Yes, that would definitely motivate students to a whole lot of new learnings. What is one new message? Why is it I can't see message?
It's just a thank you message, madam.
Okay. Anybody else?
Given a wonderful
Thank you, ma'am. Given a wonderful reply, and it's really motivate us for motivating our student. Thanks a lot, Radhika, ma'am.
Welcome. I would like of you to share, any one of you to share an experience of your student thinking that, suppose
Yes, ma'am.
student comes and tells, yes.
Yes, one of my student from the 2020 batch, he was passed in 2020 batch. He was made a one small UVC floor cleaner. UVC ultraviolet ray floor cleaner, which is very much useful during the COVID-19. And right now it is available with the product, and he is owner of that product. He is patent that small robots, UVC cleaner robots. It is just like one box, but its working is very nice. So such type of project will motivate us all also.
Correct. So when your student comes up with something interesting, take them and put them across to the incubation or the innovation council in the college, and get the college involved, and you can help the student at a large, because today there are a lot of seed money. Seed money means money that is given for first time you want to make an idea come true. For example, I'll talk to you about a particular scheme which is called as Raftar. This is given by the Ministry of Agriculture, and it is for any new agri-tech product that you can think of. So it is all comprehensive. So there is a 5 lakh grant. And the 5 lakh grant is just given if you can pitch an idea that will solve a problem in the agricultural area. Right? So if you can just pitch the problem. Now with this 5 lakhs, you can actually build a prototype and then go in for the next grant, which is 25 lakhs, which is given for scaling up the product. So this is what government is. This is the ministry. Similarly, Ministry of Electronics is giving METI grants are given. Today, there are a lot of grants. Seed money is just a small amount of money that is given for fructifying an idea into a real-time prototype product. The government of Telangana is giving, all governments, Tamil Nadu government is giving innovation slips like 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs. These are all grants which are given. Now, as faculties, we may not be aware. Please be aware what are available, so that when a student comes to you and say, ma'am, I have an idea. You say, I'm not concerned. I'm not an entrepreneurship professor. I don't know all these things. No, learn to help them and say, oh, this is a new product. Help them. You are the first one to mentor them. That's why I said your point of first contact. Mentor them and take them to the innovation council, or, get to know the incubator in your college, get to know the entrepreneurship council in your college, so that you can link them and help them to see, can I get them some funds? Plenty of funds are available. Please don't worry. There are a lot of funds. Yep. Okay. Any more questions, or we can close?
Ma'am, kindly share your email ID in chat box. That's in future we can contact you.
Sure.
If possible, ma'am. Radhika, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm doing that. Just a minute. Where is the chat? Why is this not? Okay. Why is it? I don't know why this is not moving at all in my screen. Yeah, sorry. Spelling. Yeah. Did you get, can you get it? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Padma ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, madam, giving lot of insights and lot of with your enthusiastic voice, we could able to think and rethink and the thought process we want to gain more and more, and where the proactiveness, problem solving, a lot of ideas were being shared for how to develop ourselves, as well as the skills is the very basics requirement now in a present scenario, not the knowledge. That is presently it is really very appreciable, and present scenario is also like that. Based on the skills only, we are able to get whatever we can able to do it. And this experience learning and new learning, we make ourselves very much active throughout a day or throughout in our life. That is really thought provoking what you said, madam. And we definitely do our best as a part to encourage the students towards the entrepreneur angle from our side as well as the participant side. Thank you so much for your wonderful session, madam.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So, dear participants, we will join by 10:50. Just have a short break for 8 minutes or so, and rejoin back by 10:50. We'll join back because the other speaker is also ready. The next speaker is ready. So please join by 10:50. Thank you. Good morning, madam.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, madam. We'll just wait for 2 minutes to start.
Sure,
ma'am.
sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Good morning, madam. Ms. Priyanka Ravla, Head International Programs and Partnership from T-Hub. Thank you so much, madam, for giving us an opportunity to have you as a speaker with a very short notice on a topic promoting innovative ventures, a role of technology business incubator from T-Hub. Madam is a program management and a business development professional with 7+ years of experience in management consulting, IT, and disruptive tech and impact business management stakeholder in India, UK, Australia, Japan, and across the globe. Madam Priyanka Rawala heads international programs and partnership at T-Hub, driving market access for disruptive startups across the various innovation hotspots across the globe. She is a senior delivery leader to drive execution of large multinational dollar programs with international, national, and local or governments. She has executed 10 plus market access programs for Japan, South Korea, UK, Australia, impacting 200 plus Indian and international startups. She also established T-Hub as India Innovation Partner for UK, Australia, and Japan. Thank you so much, madam. To have a very prestigious and honored speaker with us, let us start our event, madam. Over
Super.
to you. Over to
Thank
you,
you.
madam. You are made as a co-host. You can share your videos or PPT, madam.
Yes, sure.
Thank
Hi, first of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and good morning to everyone that's here. I am Priyanka. As ma'am mentioned, I've been in the startup ecosystem over a decade now. So I've been entrepreneur myself. I have worked as a founding member for 2 startups in my journey. And this is my 4th year at T-Hub, handling international programs and partnerships. Today, what I wanted to cover was a brief about what is a technology incubator, what is the role of a technology incubator in this whole startup world that we are part of. Let me know if you can see my screen. Padmaja garu, can you let me know if you can see my screen?
It is visible, madam.
Super. So to start off with how this technology business incubator, why there was a need to establish a technology incubator, I thought I will just walk you through a few of the perks or few of the history facts, right? Sorry, just. So as you all know, this is India in 1800s. We were ruled by Nizams, we were ruled by Maharashtra states, Maratha states, Rajputs, Sikhs, all of that. Even in 1800, many of the other nations were looking at India from the business point of view. That means we are innate in general entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial mindset that we carry from long generation. Even our 4 ancestors, 4 generations had their own businesses. We have been in business scenario since 1800s. That's what one of the factor why many of the countries wanted to rule over India for acquiring these businesses, right? I'll give you one good example of a company that emerged to be known as what it is today. I'm going to talk about Tata. 1868 was the year when Tata started a trading company with just 21,000 rupees at that point of time, where this was the early beginnings for them to just start as a trading company, do few imports, exports, and along with the British in 1868. This was the early beginnings of Tata in that particular year. Then there came a nodal year where, apart from trade, which is exchange of goods, they wanted to see how they can bank on the cotton industry that was very prevalent at this point of time. So to take a bold move, what they have done is they started a textile mill in Nagpur instead of Bombay. At that point of time, Bombay was like the hub for making textiles. It was the hub for books, textiles, garments, all of that, because many of the exports used to come to Bombay. So, but Ratan Tata or James Shetty, who is the forefather of Ratan Tata, took this bold move of establishing a textile mill in Nagpur, and now it is the the same textile mill is now the India's textile hub. The experiment proved to be a great stroke of success because of the risk that he was able to take. Then came 1907, where they first established Tata Iron and Steel Company, which now it is called Tata Steel. And they in a remote village where there was no hospital at all, they rolled out the first overseas. Then they opened the first overseas office in London. This step marks as the beginning of the group's global ambitions. Right in 1954, Voltas incorporated and associated multi projects, making leading solutions provider and air conditioner brand. Then came the first software company, Tata Consulting Services, ushers in new era. Today, it's truly a global enterprise with a presence in 46 countries. So what do we understand from Tata as example, right? It started off as a small trading exporter, importer company. Then they moved into textiles. Then they moved into Tata Iron and Steel. Then they moved into software services. They have diversified their product and they have grown one step at a time and have taken risks that no one else would take. This is a perfect example of a startup journey in terms of coming through a small idea, how they can expand, diversify, move to other countries, right? So all of you must be wondering why I'm covering this. So the whole idea of a technology business incubator came into existence because of the then existing companies that were there in India. Already family-owned businesses, family-run businesses that were going on, that were flourishing in other countries, and they were like generating a lot of wealth for India. This is one of the classic example of how a Tata company has diversified into various locations, various industries, based on their risk that they have taken, based on the mentorship that they had, based on the education that they had. Not all the startups in India at a point of time can afford something to do on their own. That started the era of this need for a one center that can help these entrepreneurs, startups who want to start new business, who wants to start a new company, to support them in terms of what are the requirements that they get. So that's how the technology business incubator need has come, because there was a tremendous potential of companies' growth here. So let's circle back. What is a technology business incubator, right? The technology business incubator is an organizational setup that nurtures technology-based and knowledge-driven companies by helping them survive during startup period in the company's history, which usually lasts around 2 years. That means as you have seen, Tata has grown over the years, right? The startup also grows over the year to one stage to other. So from a simple idea stage, they would go into a prototype stage where they are building a platform, building a product, a first variant of it, second variant of it. Then they go to the next level, which is a minimum viable product where customers are ready to pay them for the services that they offer. Then they go into growth stage, then they exit the market. This is usually the cycle of the startup. A technology business incubator here comes in picture, where it is an organizational setup that should nurture the overall growth journey of this startup over the period of time. So this, usually these incubators come up with a technical knowledge. They come up with a space. They have shared services. They provide specialized equipment. They also provide value-added services, like if the startups require or companies require any kind of funding, they are looking at some legal issues, how to register their company, how to register their, how to file a patent, all those legal services. Then comes business planning in terms of how they can sell to the market, what all they should do to be selling to the market, how their branding should be, pricing should be, technical assistance in terms of what are the new technologies that are coming in, how their current product can use technology and go to a next level, and the networking support in terms of getting more clients. All these together form a package, and the technology business incubator has to facilitate this. Their main objective is to produce successful ventures that can create jobs, that can create wealth in the region, and also encouraging the attitude of innovation in the country as a whole. That's why the whole theme of technology business incubator came into picture. To come for, this is a proper definition as per the website, right? They also are ventures of universities, research institutes, local governments, private players. All of them come together to establish this technology business incubator. In this type of incubation, the targeted talent consists of innovative, technology-oriented, knowledge-intensive service sector enterprises. All these interactions come together as a package to provide anything and everything that a company needs to grow in their journey. That is the sole and unique objective of why the technology business incubator was formed. So the evolution, sorry. So the evolution of this technology business incubator is very interesting, right? So initially, all the technology business incubators were only government owned. That means they were supporting through government grants, government universities. Incubator started within a university at small scale where government used to provide funds, and they used to incubate companies, and they used to have a support. But over the years, what they've realized is because it's a government owned technology business incubator, it could not give away or do larger impact because of the kind of constraints that had, right? For example, there were stringent processes that everyone has to follow because of the approvals. The impact that the technology business incubator was supposed to drive was not happening. That's when in 1990s, where the first wave of entrepreneurship happened in terms of Tata emerging as a MNC, Reliance coming up as an industry, Adani Group, all of the brilliant companies in that from 1980s took a large stunt in becoming multinational companies doing $1 billion businesses. And that created a lot of wealth generation. The wealth generation people wanted to put their money into new technologies, new companies that are coming in. So what it started is there were a lot of players from the industry who wanted to be entrepreneurial, wanted to start their own company, wanted to launch into new spaces. And because of that, in 1990, what happened is many of the private players started this incubation services by tying up with universities, by getting approvals from the government, by putting investment by themselves. In that way, in 1990s, many of the private players entered. And right now, and the next leg, as you can see in 2014, when we had the Startup India mission and Make in India started, we had at that point of time 300 registered incubators, and now we have around 7,000 registered entities across India. This is a simple stat that's showing how the need of the entrepreneurship, innovation, and the need of an incubator who can provide or cater to the all services of the companies have evolved. So the government of India, what it has done, as you know, there's government of India, there is different departments, different ministries that come under it. Then there is a Department of Science and Technology that provides institutional mechanism for promoting entrepreneurs or enterprises or companies that are technology oriented, knowledge driven, right? So they are primarily situated under National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board. The board usually has representatives from various ministries, various departments, and the sole objective is to convert job seekers into job generators or job creators, which means India as a country, so far, since we have cheap labor, many of the companies come here to provide jobs, to offer jobs, right? And many of the generations together would go for job seeking rather than job creating. Many of them, very simple, right? A fresh college graduate would want to choose a career path where he's getting instant 1 lakh as a package. He's getting 1 lakh per month. He would want to go for that rather than risking his money, risking his assets, building a company. Then the company has to click, then the employees has to come. There is this mindset that has been developed over a few generations in terms of, yes, if you have a job, it's more secure. If you don't have a job, it's not secure. So the entire the ministry itself came with the objective to make more job creators than job seekers, and they have launched a lot of programs. DST itself, as if you have time, please go to DST website. There are a lot of programs, lot of interventions, lot of free courses that are available for the people to start a company in detail, a video of what is the first step, what is the second step if you want to establish a company. What was the foundational basis for technology business incubators itself? The goals of a TBI program started by NSTEB was very simple. Creation of technology based on new enterprises, creation of value added services and jobs, facilitating transfer of technology, fostering entrepreneurial spirit, speeding commercialization of R&D output, specialized services to existing small and medium enterprises. These were the 6 top goals that were established to running this TBI program by DST. Here comes a question. Sorry, can you see my screen?
Yes, madam. Only now it is not there. Now screen is not visible, madam.
Oh, okay. Just
Till then we had a screen. Just now.
Okay. Sorry, just give me a minute.
Okay.
Just give me a minute. There seems to be. Can you see my screen now? Ma'am, can you confirm?
Yes. Yes,
yeah.
madam. Yes.
Okay, super. So the objective, the government of India actually started this entire TBA program to make them the launch pads of modern economy, right? The purpose to drive high-end entrepreneurship for science and technology, human resources, as well as self-employment opportunities was something that we wanted to create, because that's where the sustainable, the growing economy is. We can no longer depend on, we don't know when the next economic crisis might come. We don't know when this depression might hit. You must have seen in news that there are a lot of layoffs happening with the companies right now. But India is the only geography when compared to other countries where we have a stable economy right now, because we have around 77,000 or 80,000 companies existing in India as of now who are providing the jobs. They are this is what we call it as Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is helping them out in terms of avoiding these depressions or these economic crises, right? The objectives around this was being successfully delivered because of lot of activities. For example, they were creating opportunities for the startups, for the companies to move to the next level. The opportunities were created for establishing an institutional support through government. All these came together to establish this uh, TBI program. And then what are the factors involved in setting up this technology business incubator? So far, with the successful TBIs, what we have seen is that they should be the center or a platform where they can bring all the stakeholders that are needed for a company to grow to one place. So that means they need to have a setup where they can have strong linkages with institutions, strong linkages with universities, strong linkages with research institutes, strong linkages with research labs, investors, industry, government, and investors, right? All of these entities, all of them should come together, and a technology business incubator usually chooses a location or a place where they can have easy access to all these facilities, right? So when they do that, that's when they can keep the cost less and maximize the output. The location should be such that it should be helping in terms of they should not have more trouble in getting the right kind of support from government, universities, labs, investors, all of these people. So the location is very important. So usually what happens is these technology business incubators reach out or have a host institution, which is like, say, a university or a research institute that has been already in existence. They are working with the government. They choose to incubate or establish incubation within that host institution or the university in itself. This actually keeps the cost of TBA as low as possible while maximizing output, right? Because when they are doing it in the universities or institution which already has R&D and science and technology capabilities, they're already having access to free technology, free knowledge resources, highly talented human resources. All of them are very near to that host institution. What are the host institution requirements, right? Usually technology business incubators go for the host institutions that have proven research and development record. They have done commercialization of this R&D. They have dedicated team of R&D persons. They have industries nearby. There is a strong connectivity to, if they want to expand to other geographies, they need a strong connectivity. They need infrastructure, they need facilities, they need expertise available, they need proximity to the academic institutions. And it also needs a dedicated, experienced admin staff who can actually handle or find the right balance between the collaboration with the incubator for the talent and also the mentorship that the technology business incubator would provide to the companies or the startups. So usually physical infrastructure requirements with the growing times, there is no longer this, because of COVID, I think many of us have also experienced this where there is no one particular way of working. Right now, we are all adapting to new travels. There are a lot of staycations. People work from home. They're connecting virtual. In fact, we are doing this session virtual. So we need to adapt to that kind of workspace as well. So it requires a plug and play modern workspace. It requires best communication facilities, telephone, internet, fax subscriptions, computing facilities, equipment that is needed for you to develop, training and conferencing facilities for them to collaborate with their talent, and so on and so forth. what are the important steps to set a technology business incubator, right? You have your linkages, right? Which means your network is strong. You have now a physical infrastructure. The next step is what you're going to do inside the incubator. So usually what happens in a technology business incubator is they have three different areas that they usually work. What are the activities that will happen in pre-incubation? What are the activities that a TBI has to do during incubation? And what are the activities that they have to do post-incubation? For example, in the pre-incubation, what a TBI does is, what are the programs that they want to run for these companies? What are the services that they're going to offer for these companies? For a company to enter into this technology business incubator, what would be the criteria in terms of what stage, what sector they are in, how they are doing good, how good are the founders, how much money they have got. All of these aspects come in pre-incubation where you are setting up selection criteria, you are designing the programs to incubate these companies. And third, you're also looking at how to stabilize or sustainably grow in terms of your people who are incubating in your incubation center. Then the second aspect during incubation, what happens is you'll actually have to deliver what you have planned in pre-incubation space. This means your incubation facilities should include supporting the companies with the legal, with the knowledge, with the technology that they have, that they are looking for, with all kind of expertise in the incubation phase. And then the post incubation would be like when after they are graduating through your programs. On post incubation, you usually look at how the companies can grow further, how they can have international tie-ups if they want to move from one region to other region, if they want to set up their shops in other regions, how you can cater to it. All these three aspects together are very important steps in terms of the planning, execution, and post execution. This is very simple. It's like you're building a particular expertise, then operating it in the incubation phase, and in post incubation, doing the you are doing the transition or you are doing the transfer of these properties. So what I thought to discuss you in detail to explain you role of technology business incubator, I thought we'll take two case studies that I personally have experience with. One is T-Hub and the second one is IIT Madras Incubation and Research Park. So I thought I'll take two examples and walk you through what is their structure, how the technology business incubator came into existence, how they have been working, how they have created impact, so that you can have the overall view of the essential steps that they have taken to improve, and the live case studies will give you knowledge in terms of how this entire space is working out. So the first example that I wanted to walk you through is IITM Incubation Cell. I am a IIT Madras graduate, so I thought it is a very good case study. So they are India's leading deep tech startup ecosystem. They are a IITM Rural Technology Business Incubator. They have Pavitrak, which is a catalyzing innovation. All these entities together are incubated in IIT Madras Incubation Cell. So there is IITM Research Park is the first university. IIT Madras is the first university that started off this research park because they realized that there were a lot of students that were coming up with brilliant ideas. They had good research facilities where the professors were bringing some good technology, good R&D that was happening in these inside the IIT Madras, and people wanted to leverage or collaborate between industry and academia. That's when they came up with this idea of becoming or establishing a IIT M Research Park. So there is to give you a gist, there is an industry in Madras Then there is IITM faculty who are driving and thriving these technologies in their labs and their research institutes. Then you have IIT Madras students who are high talent pool, who have access to the lab facilities, the R&D that's happening with this IITM faculty, and they're also connected with industry because of the placements that they have. So the theme of Research Park was to bring students, faculty, and industry together. What essentially started off to just be a link between industry and academia now is a Section 8 non-for-profit company, which is enabling on technical entrepreneurship and innovation. So IITMs, if you see, sorry, one second. IIT Madras right now stands on, as you can see, this is the facility on the screen. If you see, this is the facility that they have established only to promote innovation, entrepreneurship. These funds were put in by the graduates and the government of India itself to establish something like this to promote more innovation, entrepreneurship, industry, academia collaboration to start off with. So over the years, what they have done, they are operational since 2010. What they've been doing is incubating the student startups that are graduating from their university and connect them with the faculty that's doing the research, wherein the faculty will provide the technical knowledge for these student startups or companies to build their product on, to support them with market needs that they have. And IIT also works with these industry bodies or industries where industries put labs in these research park, where the students also can use the industry labs to develop their product. Faculty can use their research to be developed in these industry center of excellences and R&D centers. And three of them together form a tri-party agreement and develop new companies, support larger infrastructure. So as on date, there are 90 plus industry R&D centers located in IIT Madras Park. There are center of excellences for AI, AIML, AR/VR, Web 3.0, advanced manufacturing. All these center of excellences are created for the faculty and the students to access the lab facilities. And there is a startup hub. There are 5 incubators situated across different parts of this research park, where they provide incubation space, branding opportunities for the startups, along with a community of entrepreneurs and innovators. These are the 3 different things that you will find across IITM's research park. Essentially what they do, right? They provide access to labs and facilities. They have 16 academic departments where the research keeps happening. They have established 12 centers of excellence. They have 9,000 students every year graduating who are pursuing bachelor's, master's, MA, MS, PhD programs. And they have 650 plus eminent faculty who are doing various research projects. And they do 2,000 research publications every year. And they have filed 248 patents till date. So what usually happens is once they form patents, the research facility evaluates if the research or the technology that the company is bringing is unique or not through a platform that they have developed on their own, where it can give you, if it is a unique product that they are developing, if it's a unique solution that they have come up with. And then what usually happens is they have a startup incubation committee where there are people coming in from industry, research. There are people from investors who are coming, sitting on like a jury panel, and the company comes and presents their idea. And this startup committee looks at how good the product is that the company is trying to sell, how good the the person who started the company, the founder's profile. They look at the technology that they are bringing in, and they also look at what kind of support that the company is asking this IIT Madras team to deliver. So there is a startup committee that evaluates all of these, and then they give you, they get entry into the incubation center or an incubator program that they have. Here, what happens is once the company is inside IITM Research Park, they provide a business or a technology mentor within their faculty, and the faculty works with this company. Say, there is a technology company that has come in, and the founder is a technical expert. So they provide business faculty or a business MBA faculty, masters in science faculty to come nurture this particular company, and they become the board of this company, and then they help them to run opportunities to grow on the technology. They also provide they provide the incubation space for the company to set up their shops, to set up their team. They'll have access to the IITM's 9,000 students that are graduating every year, to pick few people from there and hire. So they are solving the man part. They are giving them the technology and the knowledge resources that are required through faculty. And the most important thing that they also do is, since they have industry as one of the body within the research park, because they have 90 plus innovation R&D centers of companies operating out of research park. These companies, what they give is they provide pilot opportunities or partnership opportunities for these companies that are incubated in IITM. And they have a regular program that they run where they have, they show about the startups, the technology trends that they have, and the kind of companies that they have incubated to these corporate R&D people that are there. And they will provide sponsorship, they will provide grants to these companies, they will provide partnership opportunities to this country, to the companies that are incubated in IITM. So overall, what they are trying to build is they are giving access to knowledge and technology through labs, and they are giving mentorship to the startups through the faculty that is there. They are they are supporting the companies with the hiring or getting the talent done for them because of the 9,000 students that are graduating from IIT. Then they are also giving them in the connects in terms of getting their certification done, capacity building done through the corporate connections that they have. In this way, what they are doing is they are building a environment that is catalyzing innovation. They're bringing in industry, research, students to one single body, so that that particular center becomes the hub and heart of what they've been doing. For example, the deep tech startups that are incubated so far so for example, if you can see, the 40% of their overall founders is faculty itself. That means the faculty or the professors who are running different departments, different courses within the IITM have become the founders. They have established companies based on the research that they have done. And around, if you see here, 101 companies that IITM has incubated, most of them have the faculty of IITM itself as minority shareholders or board member or a co-founder of that sort. And if you can see, 26% of the total founders are university students themselves. That means they are supporting the students with the ideas that they have. They are supporting the student startups to nurture more. And 53% of that comes from outside. That means they are able to attract a lot of companies to come to this IITM because of the facilities that they have. Even if you see the sectors on the left side, they have waste to wealth management, which brings out one of the strongest sustainability SDG goals that we are talking about. Fintech, smart livelihood, agri-tech, water sanitation, education, AIML, data science, AR, VR, manufacturing, EV, robotics. So they are a purely technology business incubator, bringing in industry, students, and companies together. So this is the impact that they have created. They have created 7,000 jobs so far since 2010. They have 270 startups. They have helped in 9 mergers and acquisitions, and total startups that they have generated in the market is 106. Every year is when they do it. And they have total incubates of 113. And the total investment that they were able to get is around $1.1 billion overall. And the valuation of each of the company all put together is 4.1 billion. This is the kind of wealth they are generating. This is the kind of jobs they are generating. And you can see the 210 are the new technologies that have come that have been filed patents. All of this is the role of a incubator. For example, right now the Madras or the Chennai ecosystem is on top 10 because of incubators like IITM. There are other incubators as well who are supporting this. But the role of technology business incubator is very clear in terms of creating the jobs, generating more wealth, giving more technologies, developing more knowledge, bringing new people into technology, and making the nation more tech enabled, right? So this is one of the classic example of how a university incubated technology business incubator has driven impact, has brought in all the relevant stakeholders, and has created a tremendous impact in terms of jobs, in terms of the wealth that they have created. So this is one such classic example that I thought I will walk you through. Then the second example that I wanted to cover is T-Hub itself, since I work here and I have in and out knowledge of T-Hub. T-Hub is the world's largest innovation hub as on June 28th, 2022. T-Hub is the world's largest innovation campus because it is spaced across 585,000 square feet of land, and it can provide space for 1,000 companies with 4,000 workstations. That's why even the space, it's one of the largest. And they also won Best National Technology Incubator in 2022 this year because of the kind of contributions that they have done. So what I thought is that I'll take T-Hub as the classic example and explain you how non-university incubated the non-university incubator is driving impact overall, how their strategy is placed, what they are trying to do, and how they have created impact over the last few years. T-Hub started off in the year of 2015, right after the formation of Telangana state in 2014, with an ambition to promote entrepreneurship and innovation across Telangana. When the company started, in last 8 years, what they have done, they have gone from being an incubator to an innovation hub in itself. I'll explain you why, right? So T-Hub right now works with not just startups, they work with corporates, they work with government, they work with investors, they work with international organizations, and they do a perfect balance between all these stakeholders to drive maximum output for the startups. So they follow a very simple framework called 6M2Ps. This is the framework that they offer to any company that's entering into T-Hub. So we also have a eligibility criteria that the companies that we incubate usually have a technology. T in T-Hub stands for technology. So we incubate only technology companies. So we have a framework to nurture these companies, which is 6M and 2Ps. The 6 M's stand for one. First M that any company would require is access to money, access to funding. So this is where the T-Hub team works with investors, VCs, angel networks, corporate banks, and also work with government to provide support to the companies. At very early stage, companies require money to get more people to pay salaries to develop the product. So at initial stages, what T-Hub does is they work with government to provide to see what are the grants that are available. As I told you, DST has a lot of science and technology development programs. Under that, there is some grants set aside for prototype building, technology development in a relevant sectors, and they provide access or they provide knowledge to these startups on what are the various government grants that are available that companies can apply and bring money to. Then the second stage where they help them is T-Hub as an organization works with corporate banks like ICICI, HDFC Bank, HSBC Bank to provide collateral-free loan to these companies, right? And third one that they work is once the startup is or the company is reached to a level where they have few clients, they work with investors, VCs, angel networks to provide funding to this company on behalf of some amount of shares to be holded by investors. In that way, this technology business incubator is providing support to startups that are looking at money. Then the second M that they focus is on market access, where for a company to grow, it should have a wide client base, right? So they need to have customers, they need to approach enterprises, they need to approach other businesses, they have to generate wealth, they have to generate their own revenue. So for that, what T-Hub does is T-Hub works with corporates, T-Hub work with industry, T-Hub work with associations, T-Hub works with other local partners who can potentially provide revenue or become customers to these companies. That's the second N that they focus, which is market access. And the third N that they focus is on mentorship, where T-Hub has now 100 plus mentors. These are individuals that are working in a company, which is in a company at a CXO role or a vice president, senior director role in a particular sector with a specialization, who come in as mentors or guide these companies in the initial stages. In the initial stages, companies look at mentorship from understanding the market, what are the new trends, understanding the new technologies, where they should head on building the product, how the product should look like, how much I should give, what is the price that I have to put forth, how much money that I should make. All these require intensive support from an experienced, seasoned professional in a particular sector, right? For you to understand a sector. So T-Hub brings in these mentors, connect with these companies, and they provide mentorship in terms of giving them market-specific knowledge, product-specific knowledge, marketing-specific knowledge to these companies. That's the third M, which is mentorship. The fourth M that they cater to is manpower. So they have tied up with institutes like ISB, NALSAR, all of these organizations, and they are tied up with 35 universities that provide manpower requirement to these companies. So they bring in, so T-Hub actively partnered with universities, partnered with agencies that can provide human resources to the company. Then the next M that they focus on is methodologies. So for them, as I told you, there are crucial steps involved in pre-incubation, incubation, and post-incubation. What T-Hub has done is set up the criteria, set up a method in terms of how they can incubate startups, how they can incubate companies in their area, how they can nurture, and what are the milestones that a company has to achieve for it to become a MNC or a multi-billion company, right? So they have set up these processes, defined those processes and stages, so that all the companies have to do is they have to see the roadmap and see which part they belong to, whether they are in prototype stage, whether they are in MVP stage, when they are in growth stage, they can just look at the playbook and understand where they are and what are the steps that are absolutely important for them to take to move to the next level. That is what they provide in terms of methodologies. Then they provide something called motivation. So, as you know, to shift the mindset from job seekers to job creators, there is a lot of risk involved. There is a lot of mindset change that is required. And usually, what usually happens is people get to disheartened very easily if they fail at early stages, right? If you're not getting a customer, paying customer, you get so disheartened, right? Keep up the spirits of motivation. What THAP has done is create role models. So the building itself was inaugurated by Ratan Tata. So he stands as clear example of how entrepreneur, how he started small, expanded into this billion-dollar businesses, and how he's been driving that over the last few decades. You can see the impact of Tata Group right from 1800 still this date, right? So we bring in people like those to talk to these startups, entrepreneurs, or companies to understand what are the quick tips on how to overcome obstacle sort of things. All these 6 M's are given to the companies through 2 P's, which is partnerships and policy advice. Under partnerships, what they do is they scout activity for partners like universities, they scout for partners like government, they scout for partners like corporates, they scout for organizations that can provide either of these 6 M's to the companies that are incubated within the center. They also support in terms of policy advisory, where they work with state governments, national and international governments, where they provide inputs on the various policies that a government is planning to bring. There is a space tech policy, drone tech policy, all of those policies where they can be company oriented rather than a research oriented, right? So the T-Hub talks to all these government entities who are designing the policies to make them more startup oriented, to make them more startup friendly. So this is the framework of T-Hub in terms of 6M2Ps. And very clearly, this is the role that they've been playing, where they're providing access to all the requirements that the companies have, put it in a simple framework, making it accessible for all the technology companies that are coming to T-Hub. And this is the impact that they have driven in last 8 years. So they have connected around, they have around 2,000 odd companies graduated from their facility. They have now incubated at present. Physically, they have 300 startups in the facility, physically occupying space. These are founders from 2 to 20 members companies. Then they have virtually connected with 1,100 companies, and they have 107 partners. They have supported government in drafting 22 policies. They have brilliant programs that help startups to grow from one stage to other stage. And they created 16,000 jobs, and they have so many mentor hours. They've enabled so many market access connects. So this is basically what they do. Under market access, as I told you, they provide startups with access to government pilots, e-procurement opportunities, connections with trade and industry bodies across different governments, across different geographies. They provide corporate connections. There are a lot of innovation challenges for the corporates, where they bring in corporates and the companies together, explore collaboration opportunities. Then they're also a designated Atal Innovation Center, where they are nurturing startups in healthcare, mobility, sustainability, semiconductors. Then they also have an investment readiness program to attract more investments into the company. All these activities are being provided by them. For example, these are the top companies that have raised so much amount of money, and they have been grants provided by corporates, MSME, AIC, all of these people. Here is the journey I was talking to you about, right? Right from idea stage till you're becoming a MNC, there are different stages, and T-Hub has program for each stage. For example, for a company from idea, if you want to move to a product stage, you have a program called Masterclass. From product, you want to go to growth, there is a Lab 32. So for each stage of the company, there is a designed startup program, designed methodology that will help you help the companies to scale to the next level. So here are their hiring. They have hiring partners. They do a lot of internship melas, recruitment drives to fulfill the manpower requirements that the startup has. As I told you, they bring in the startup, the mentors, where each mentor comes with 20, 30 years of experience in a particular sector with a specialization that come as mentor to these startups, and this entire thing is enabled by a specific team. Then for motivation, they do a lot of community events. They bring in a lot of speakers from the other side to talk to the startups, to understand what it takes to be a startup, how they can build the company, what are the easy things that they can follow, what are the other tools that are available outside to make you operational ready, all those activities. And these are the 22 policies I was talking about, where T-Hub has facilitated in terms of making these policies more startup friendly, ecosystem friendly. And they have formed so many partnerships so that anything that startup would require, they can just do a connect and then just connect them and then explore the partnership opportunity. So this is what I wanted to cover. So I hope now you understand. So I've given you a brief on how the history of these companies or the diversifying need for a technology incubator started. What was the current technology incubator program that DST was running, and how the technology business incubators administrate, what are the kind of physical requirements they have, what are the kind of value-added services that they can provide. And I have walked you through two of such different types of technology business incubators, one incubator within university, one is a private public partnership, which is T-Hub, to help you understand what they have been providing and how they have created impact on each scenario. So that's what I thought I would cover in this session. Happy to take any questions that you might have.
Thank you, madam, for your wonderful session. Participants, any questions, please? Madam is more practical related to T-Hub, and given a lot of what are the things available in the T-Hub and how we can able to approach and start a business. And what is the need for a business was been very much clear, and as well as the example about the Tata business and the Tata journey was really give us a thought process how we can also involve as a faculty, how we can able to with an example of IIT Madras, how the faculty are involved in the incubation and how they are able to grown up to a business level. That's what we are actually looking into from the participants' point of perspective. So I request each and every participant to come up with their new ideas for T-Hub, or generating a new ideas for incubation or a startup, and where the madam is hopefully ready to help in any of the questions related to this.
So I've dropped my mail ID and the phone number. You can reach out to me if you have any fresh ideas, if you're looking at any support on incubation. and happy to support any of the services that you require. So to provide registration process, you can go to website, DPIIT website, where they have clearly laid out the registration process for the startup. It usually has basic details of the POC. Then it also has what is the startup idea, what is the problem that you are solving, what are the different kinds of, if you have any pictures of the platform or the company that you want to create, you can apply there. So it is directly available in Startup India portal. Go to Startup India portal. You can register your startup. You can register your idea there. I hope I answered your question. I can also put few links on the chat where you can get access to Startup India portal. I'm just putting the link so that.
Is there any eligibility process, or anyone can with ideas they can just come up?
Yes, so anyone with ideas can come register there. So they have an internal IP management platform, which means they do idea validation. Say if your idea is unique, if you're building something like Swiggy, Zomato, they'll tell you that there are already existing products or companies in food delivery. So you can look at some other solution is what they will suggest. So if it is an idea that is unique to you, as in I'm building a new device to control full energy monitoring of my home, then that is a new product in itself. There is no one who is doing that. So automatically your idea is something that is unique and you can build a product. Anyone can apply as a startup. Anyone can become entrepreneur. But essentially what usually happens is they need to file patent for the idea that they have developed. That's the crux. So that no one else can copy or replicate, duplicate your product or idea that you.
Means before applying, we need to have a patent, madam?
Not needed. You can apply as and then go for patent as well. Most of the startups apply first for startup license, then start the company, register the company, then slowly develop their product. And once the product reaches to a stage where someone is ready to pay them the money, that's when they go and register the patent. Whereas with research, what happens is university or research faculty usually patent their product, patent their research first, then build the product, then apply for the startup or a company. So that is their process flow.
Any questions from the participants? You can directly unmute yourself and ask the question to the madam.
If you are not comfortable doing that, you can drop the messages in the chat box. I can answer the questions on the chat box as well.
Any participant, please post the questions. Yeah, if no questions, thank you, madam. Thank you for your wonderful session, giving a lot of insights into how we can approach the T-Hub and go and start with our own business. And it is a really thought-provoking type of an inspirational talk we had, though you are very busy in your activities, daily schedule.
No.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your wonderful session, madam.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Happy to be part of it. Thank you. Have a great day. Please do drop me any messages. I drop my mobile number and mail ID. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, madam. So requesting all the participants to join back for the afternoon session, that is a session 3 by 12:50. Thank you once and all.